All right, we're doing 12 days of holiday baking goodies, 6 tried and true recipes and 6 new recipes. All right, I am continuing 12 days of holiday goodies. Today I am working without Brian, he's at work, and I'm going to be getting set up for Almond Petticoat Tails. They are a light, crisp, delicious cookie if you like an almond flavor. They're one of my favorite cookies. All right, I am making Almond Petticoat Tails, which is from my favorite cookbook, the Betty Crocker's Cookie Book. And we are going to drop our cookbook. And then we're going to start with 2 cups of margarine, which is 4 sticks. And next, this recipe does not have regular sugar, it has powdered sugar. We have 2 cups of powdered sugar sifted. So we're going to sift that in quickly. Alright, and then 2 teaspoons of flavoring. These are, I call them Almond Petticoat Tails. They are actually just petticoat tails, and we always make them almond. You can add vanilla, peppermint, wintergreen, any flavor you want to use. So I have 2 teaspoons of almond extract. And this is a super simple recipe here. I'm just going to stir that for a moment so the powdered sugar doesn't fly out when I put the mixer in. And I'm just going to give this a quick mix and clean this up. Alright, and I always give my bowl a little scrape as I'm mixing to make sure nothing went down to the bottom. And as you can see, we are good there, and everything's nice and creamed up. And next I have 4½ cups of flour. I'm going to add half at a time just because this is a thicker cookie recipe. And I have ½ teaspoon of salt. As you can see, that's actually, once I get the rest of the flour in, that's all of our ingredients. That's how quick this cookie is. I'm just going to add the rest of my flour. Now, normally this last part of mixing, I like to mix by hand with a wooden spoon, but since I hurt my arm, I actually can't do that very well at the moment. So I went ahead and just did it straight with the beaters. I'm going to get off my excess cookie dough. And it seems like a soft dough right now, but this is going to be put in the refrigerator. Usually I do at least 2 hours or overnight. That way it firms up nicely. I actually might leave it in the refrigerator until after I get home from picking up the kids. That way it'll firm up nicely. As you can see, it's just a little bit of a soft dough at the moment. So I'm going to take some waxed paper. I'm going to spread half of that out on the wax paper. I'm going to make this into 2 separate little batches here. So these are essentially a slice and bake cookie. And like I said, so these are super easy. These are going to be long and rectangular. So I want to pat this out. I make it so it's probably at least 1.5 inches tall. You can see my shape here. I'm going to do this with the other one as well. I'm going to just pop these in the refrigerator wrapped up in the wax paper. And then when they're chilled properly, we will be slicing and baking them off. That's how simple this is. All right, it's been a few hours. Here I am back with my petticoat tail dough. I'm going to unwrap this. I have my oven preheating to 400. Just going to leave it right here on the wax paper. I'm going to cut the end off. The end is what I like to snack on, or you can bake it. It's just the off cookie that's not quite the exact same as all the rest. Now you're going to slice these in 1/8 thick slices, 1/8 of an inch thick slices, and I'm using just a chef knife. I place them onto an ungreased cookie sheet, and these don't really spread much because there's no sort of rising agent in them, so you don't have to space them too far apart. So I'm going to tray these up and just keep on slicing here. Try not to get my arm in the way. And the baking time on these is 8 to 10 minutes. I like to check them a little early since it's at 400. Sometimes I feel like they cook a little fast because I like them to barely have any color on the bottom, because I like them to still get a little soft instead of crispy. I'm going to place this in the oven now for the 8 to 10 minutes. All right, since I want these nice and light, I am checking them at 7 minutes. Here we are. Let's check the bottom, and they're just a nice golden brown on the bottom. I'm going to take these out, and we are going to slide them onto the cooling rack to cool. And then, once they're cool, we actually frost these cookies. The recipe doesn't call for it, but this is how I have always done it since I was little. We just use a traditional American buttercream frosting recipe, and in replacement of the vanilla flavoring, you add almond flavoring. And I'm actually not going to show you today how to make the frosting because I actually have some frosting left from the cake I made, and I changed it into almond frosting, and that is what we are going to use to frost these cookies. So I'll show you how to do that as soon as these are cool. Alright, my petticoat tails are cooled, and I have my frosting that I made up right here. It is blue because, like I said, it was left over from a winter themed cake. That's not going to make a difference. It's got some almond flavoring in it, and all we do, just use a butter knife and lightly frost the top of every cookie. Just a nice thin layer. You don't want, this isn't a heavily frosted cookie. If we weren't using the blue, or actually if you are using blue, you could add a little bit of a clear sugar crystal sprinkle. That would look gorgeous. And I actually might do a few of these and just sprinkle some granulated sugar on top, since it is the blue, to make it look have a little snowy effect. We used to ice these white and put red and green sprinkles on them to look nice for Christmas. Christmas is generally the only time of year we ever made these cookies. Alright, I got my sugar jar. Got my cookies. Oh yeah, that looks nice. It's all wintry. Alright, that's it. That is how you make a delicious almond petticoat tail.